I have listened very carefully to your presentation, and obviously I agree with all the points that you outlined: preparedness, ensure viability of critical medicine, patient-oriented approach in life science, and improve research through multi-country clinical trials. And also, obviously, you mentioned the work on the pharma package. I have a couple of questions about the things that you mentioned. And the first one is about the fact that you mentioned the importance, and I obviously agree, of dealing with antimicrobial resistance in preparedness. And I would like to know what are your ideas on this specific topic. Also, you mentioned another important issue that we unfortunately experience with significant sufferance in our continent during the COVID pandemic, and is the availability of critical medicines, also the availability of critical tools. And you mentioned the stockpiling, and I would like to know which kind of ideas you have about stockpiling, because that could be, managed in different ways. Also, you mentioned multi-country clinical trials, and obviously this is important, is something that is ongoing in contemporary sciences, but I would like to know if you have any specific idea on what kind of improvement can be introduced in multi-country clinical trials. And finally, I have a question about investment, and I'm talking about financial investment, and your thought about screening to treat as early as possible disease, particularly cancer, before it gets advanced. At the beginning of this spring, of last spring, the Commissioner Varela came here and provided us with very devastating data about screening opportunities in our continent. I recall the numbers that are more important than many words. He said that, for example, for breast cancer, in our continent, the access to screening in some areas is 5%, in other areas 86%. This, I would say, is a very significant difference. Is there anything that you think we should do in order to eliminate this really awful difference in treating our citizens? Thank you very much for your attention.